We're going to be looking at two prominent streamers, which, oh my god, you take a look at who we're looking at and you realize that that's who's prominent, that's who's popular right now, and you'll wonder why society is in the state that it's in. But no, you've got these two streamers right here, and they're both finding themselves in the news for two very different reasons. But the response to both of these stories, it's very interesting. Okay, as we're going to focus on Amouranth to begin with, I think that it's a very, very different situation to what we're going to be discussing in the latter half of the video, mostly because she didn't necessarily do anything to elicit this attempted armed robbery, unless, of course, you start to peel back a couple of layers, and especially when you take a look at the response to this stuff, and that's where we're definitely going to have the crossover. It's kind of a bed of your own making, so if you were going to social media at a time when you should be dedicating all of your efforts to getting your story across to the authorities, don't be surprised if people are thinking that you're somehow blowing this out of proportion. But let's take a look here. Amouranth reveals a terrifying footage of masked gunmen attempting to rob her home. Now, wait, what? Okay, we're just jumping in the deep end on this one because, yeah, over this past weekend, Amouranth went on Twitter, okay, made these big, wild accusations. I'm being robbed at gunpoint. 10 million views. It's like, what? Okay, cool. We've seen crazy stuff like this before. Okay, I believe I shot one of them and they wanted crypto. I was, is what they were yelling. They pulled me out of bed. This was a home invasion. SWAT here. And now I'm safe. That's okay. That's the entire conversation as it came out. What appears to be Sunday evening. I'm recording this Monday evening, so you guys are, just for posterity's sake, I suppose. But okay, you go to social media with something like this, and we've seen time and time again women of her ilk, perpetual clout chasers, weaponize the situation, okay, fabricate it or not, blow it out of proportion because they really have no risk of any types of repercussion. They make a false swatting attempt. It's not like a boogie type situation where eventually, you're going to have some internet autists go in on this, and then you eventually have some more egg on your face to go alongside the Mountain Dew that's on your chin. Your chins in that case. No, you've had Amouranth made just wild claims before, and several other ethos out there. They have made these absurd claims. There might be a kernel of truth at the bottom of this, but in totality, it all boils down to a woman perceived to be in trouble. Everybody just wants to get on their white steed and come on over and save the damsel in distress. Like, oh, spare me. We've been through this rigmarole before. So yeah, when I first seen this, that was my thought. And it's like, oh God, okay, cool. Receipts or it didn't happen. And yeah, to her credit, to have some receipts. Okay, so we're not going to play the footage, mostly because I think it might be against terms of service, and realistically, okay, yeah, your place got robbed, okay, you're in Houston. Yeah. I mean, not exactly one of the safest large cities that's out there, but then you're also somebody who flaunts their wealth on social media, who let it leak, a year or two ago when you went over to Kick, you were, getting a very large contract, okay? You're perpetually at the top of the leaderboards when it comes to e-girls and OnlyFans, quote-unquote, creators. Forgive me if I don't point out that you're making yourself a very easy target. Because there was another story that was going around. I think it just got solved right on and or around Super Bowl time. But there were 7 high-profile athletes who had their homes broken into by illegal Venezuelan aliens or something like that. They were illegal aliens. I forgot specifically where they were from, but it was hilarious the way that, the media was reporting it, where they had a picture of Patrick Mahomes because he was one of the 7 athletes that had one of their homes broken into, but they didn't want to put any of the mug shots of the people. Instead, it'd be like, oh, take a look at this athlete who's home. And I think Tom Brady's place was also, looped in on that stuff. But yeah, these are high-end places with very lax security, which is very interesting to piece all of that stuff together. But yeah, that those athletes, some of the most prominent people on the face of the earth, they have wealth. Same with Amouranth. So if you do this type of stuff, you flaunt your wealth. It is very well known that you are a well-to-do individual. you need to start moving differently. This isn't victim blaming. This is just smart tactics. And as somebody, okay, which as much as she is the quintessential e-girl, does do a couple of things correct, okay? She has, what, hella gas stations in your local neighborhood, okay? Like, she has made wise moves, realizing that, she get right up close to that wall. So, buying a half dozen convenience stores, making smart moves outside of the business. So eventually she can transition into that area, probably start pimping out other chicks. It's like, hey, man. She knows that this gravy train is eventually going to run out, which is why when you hear such spectacular things like I was just drug out of my bed and they wanted my crypto, it's like, now you're taking this a next step further, because we've also seen your teary-eyed proclamations a couple of years back when, I need to leave my husband because he's forcing me to do all of these torrid things. And then you take a week off and then you come back and it's like, oh, okay, cool. No, everything's, just got a price increase on your OF. Like, stop me if I'm a touch skeptical. But the 31-year-old streamer, wow, okay. I thought she was on the other, the younger side of 30, but I guess, she's been in the news so long. I don't follow Amouranth all that much. Whenever she pops up like this is about the only time that she's relevant in my world. She has a legion of simps. It is what it is. 90% of dudes are blue-pilled as hell. So of course, in her little harem of whores are going to go ahead and get off scot-free. But yes, I'm being robbed at gunpoint. I believe I shot one of them, blah, 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 all that crap. A follow-up post hours later, Amouranth released a footage of the masked gunman and them fleeing 3 gunmen. He screams, I got shot, and I'm supposed to post the scene itself, nor the casing, which are now evidence. Yeah, no, exactly, because this is an ongoing investigation. It would behoove you to allow the professionals to take care of this stuff. And if you want to grift off of you being a legit victim, that's totally up to you. Okay, like this is one of those cases. Okay, like if you get afflicted, not that I'm wishing this, I'm just saying, if you get afflicted with a legit illness or something like that, and you want to come forward and say that, hey, the medical bills are going to be, quite exorbitant, that's on you. You got your house broken into, you want to invest in a little bit more personal security, that's totally fine. It's just putting it out there on the internet. I mean, yeah, you kind of have reputational damage when it comes to your legitimacy and believability, so I kind of guess. But yeah, if you know that you're not supposed to be posting that stuff and you do, what the fuck's wrong with you? Okay, they beat me before the video and pistol whipped me. Pummeling felt like it would never end. I protected my head, put my arms up, and like I'm learning how to do in boxing. Blood was streaming down my head. My hands were beat brown. They brought duct tape and masks and were armed with handguns. Yeah, that's, again, it sounds very, very harrowing and all this stuff. And it's real tough that happened to you. It's just outside of attention and more clout, what can you get from vocalizing that on the internet? Like, it doesn't really, like, trying to be as good faith as possible. Like, things just aren't really connecting for me, which is why when so many people first heard this, it's like, yeah, it's probably staged. It's probably a setup. You want to get into all of this information. And then you have a completely objective third-party interlocutor come in and say, yeah, no, seems legit. Okay, YouTuber and former SWAT officer, Donut Operator, shout out to him, very good gun-related channel, has confirmed Amouranth's robbery story through his police connections. So yeah, he has nothing to gain in this situation. I don't think that he has any sort of connections with Amouranth. I highly doubt it. Never really heard it referenced. Not entirely sure if there is anything there from, previous interactions or not. So this just kind of seems like it's a third-party source coming out going, yeah, no, it's legit. Police were called. The authorities were there. Everything's on the up and up, and Houston police have issued a statement to gather information on the suspects. If you have any information, yes, related to the aggravated robbery, home invasion, contact the, Houston Police Robbery Division or Crime Stoppers of Houston. So yeah, I guess perhaps the way that you could spin this is that Amouranth putting out the security cam footage, okay, the Nest cam footage that she has. That would also raise the profile of the criminals. Her reach is probably going to be even better than the Houston Police Department, which I would imagine probably has fewer followers than Amouranth. So you could go with that, okay? But there's a reason that, yeah, people are skeptical, because this is the chick who's cried wolf, and as somebody who has been covering this stuff the entire time, I see stuff like this. Okay, I want to pause this, okay, I would like to point out, though, she didn't fire the shot. So Donut Operator has a couple of other pieces of information, okay? Like, as he backs up right here, spoke to some folks, this 100% happened. And then, as she says in the initial post, okay, 3 gunmen, no, that's not the initial one, okay, this one, okay, I believe I shot one of them, and they wanted crypto, and they were, yelling at me and pulled me out of bed, blah, 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 and all that stuff. But, yeah, the people that he spoke to, and then the clarification on this, okay, yeah, interesting, any ideas? Yeah, Ian Runkle, YouTube lawyer, asking, it's like, okay, is there anything else that's out there? Husband popped them coming in the door. Oh, wasn't it a couple of years ago Amouranth was claiming that she needed to get away from her husband because he was forcing her to do a bunch of stuff, but they're still living to get, like, oh, what's happened? Oh, okay, really? Because, yeah, that's not what she said. Yeah, because she also wants to maintain this perception that, oh, yeah, she's just this lonely e-girl who, oh, no, now I'm going to be victim of, future attacks and future break-ins. I still think there's something fishy to this. 100% think that there's something fishy to this. Obviously, it happened. Okay, donut operator stands to gain a 0 for him putting his own reputation on the line. Simply say something happened that didn't. Could it be a Jussie Smollett type situation where, yeah, okay, in order to pop a rating, get people talking, did she hire some people to run an op? That's possible too. But if this was just a situation that was in a vacuum, okay, if there wasn't this history that was here, there wasn't this immediate clamoring to put everything that you have on social media, people would look at this, they give you the sympathy that you're obviously looking for as well, and then help you get to the bottom of this. But now, the attention economy, the way that it is, there are some unflattering questions, accusations, and perceptions over the top of this, and they're going to linger like that. And the same thing happens for the likes of, oh, a little man by the name of Hasan Piker. I'm coming to ban you. No, not in real life, but on Twitch. Finally, the idiot flew a little bit too close to the sun and ended up catching what is honestly probably going to be a temporary ban. And who knows, man? He might even be back by the time that you guys see this, okay? But at least at this point in time, I couldn't find any definitive timeline on how long this ban is going to be, but I couldn't imagine it's anything longer than a handful of days. He might end up getting a week off, okay? The first week of March is on us, boy, and he can just come back because you are too much of a engagement farm for Twitch to lose. Honestly, like, Twitch is a dying platform. Everybody knows it. It has been on life support for years at this point in time, and the moment that Amazon realizes that, oh yeah, no, this is just way too much headache for its own good, they pull the plug, and then all of these idiots, all of these, wannabe socialists, champagne socialists, just scatter to the four corners of the world. It's simply a matter of time. And so somebody with a long-term reputation of being virulently anti-free speech, being strongly in the camp of believe all accusations before they are borne out, a la how he attacked Andrew Tate, and still, I'd imagine to this very day, without any evidence. Forgive me if I'm not coming to the defense of somebody who routinely advocates for some of the worst policies and some of the most heinous ideas in the world when he ends up reaping the consequences of his own actions. Let's take a look. Twitch streamer Hasan has been banned, yes, on the platform just days after making controversial comments towards a U.S. senator. And the spin that I've seen on this has been amazing. Oh, just engaging in a hypothetical. Oh, all he was doing was just discussing a Medicare play or a Medicaid plan involving Rick Scott. Oh, how did we get to a point online where you can't engage in hyperbole? Well, that's hilarious, because I remember a couple of years back, if you didn't like the terms and you didn't like the policies that a platform has, what was the rejoinder of this side of the equation? Oh, if you don't like it, just make your own platform. Oh, wow, that's crazy, right? With nearly 3 million followers on Twitch, Hasan has become one of the biggest names on the Amazon-owned platform, thanks to his just chatting streams and occasional gameplay. Like, when was the last time this idiot ever played a game, okay? Other than the one that he's running on his audience. Over 30,000 viewers chime in, each one of his almost daily broadcasts on Twitch, with many more checking out the VODs afterwards. I'd have to see the numbers on that, because I don't know who on God's green earth could possibly go back and watch a Hasan VOD. That is, unless you're, trolling for clips or just to see how much he's actually on screen as opposed to his empty chair. But on Monday, March 3rd, Hasan was banned from the site for making controversial comments towards a U.S. senator. That's one way that you could say, yeah, he basically advocated that his audience goes and takes matters into their own hands. At the time of writing, Hasan's channels display, Twitch's ban message revealing that his account is temporarily unavailable. Shortly after the ban, fans speculated that due to the comments he made towards U.S. Senator during a stream on February 27th. So it took them 4 days. It took them the weekend to come forward with a ban. That's very interesting as well. Yeah, well, he hadn't confirmed the exact reason for the ban. Hasan apologized for his choice of words. That's the way that you want to frame this. He apologized. No, he was just being a snarky asshole. Senator Rick Scott. And he said he'll be more careful next time. I'm sorry, I'll choose my words more carefully next time. And say if Mike Johnson cares about Medicare fraud, since he wants to cut $800 million from Medicaid and Medicare, he'd call for max punishment for current Florida GOP Senator, former Governor Rick Scott, who has done the most Medicare fraud in U.S. history. But to give you the proper context as to why people think, Edgestream and his ban ended up getting enacted, I mean, he called for his audience to take out Rick Scott. I don't know how else to phrase it other than how this brainlet phrased it. Probably with a few more ums and ahs in between everything. But outside of your normie circles, nobody's going to come to your defense because we've seen what you have done before. Do we even need to bring up the 9/11 quote? No, exactly. You have been a scumbag for a very long time, so nobody is going to cry. Nobody's even going to bother, pulling out the world's tiniest violin to play you a sad song because we know that you're one of Twitch's golden boys. You will just immediately get, a very light slap on the wrist. You'll come back and play the victim. And then in very short order, grift off of this by somehow claiming that, the Republicans run everything now on Twitch. Hilarious. And that, gaslight people into thinking, if a Republican said this, nothing bad would happen to them. Meanwhile, how many examples over the past 4+ years over the Biden administration do we have to point to people having to walk on eggshells to discuss anything that this asshole had the leeway to misrepresent and lie about? Yeah. Twitch streamers in general have a huge credibility issue, and then there's a reason why the platform is dying, because we are definitely entering, in case you haven't seen it before, we are entering into an era of authenticity where that is the currency. That is what drives the market. And Hasan, he's about as authentic as his audience. And Amouranth, apparently that, what bad acts happened to her. I don't wish that on her at all. I'm glad everything made it out all right. It's just the reason that people are skeptical is because we've seen how you've comported yourself in the past. And no, we haven't even had to pay to see that pleasure. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.